So the Proxima PX-01, what a strange watch. I've said in the thumbnail it's a bit mental because it's got some bits of old stuff in it, such as domed crystal. This is sapphire in this case, and it's in a 62 mass Seiko style case, and it's got unusual lume, which is really cool and really bonkers. So stick with me and I'll share all that with you. So my friends, stats and specs of this quite unusual looking Proxima, the PX-01. $184, great value for money, I'd say, for what you get. The weight of this watch, sized up for me, took 3 links out, it's 164 grams, so it's reasonably weighty. 40mm case size, 48 lug to lug, and these lugs are drilled. Lug width is 20mm, obviously 20mm solid end link bracelet in here. I'll talk more about the bracelet in a minute. Including this bubble dome crystal with AR coating, this is sapphire, it is 14.8mm thick, but if you don't include that crystal, so the actual metal aspect of the watch, that is 3mm less than that, so is a good percentage of the height of this watch because of that amazing crystal. Crown here, which is screw down, adding to the 200 meters water resistance, that is a 6mm crown. And we've got a screw case back, which is all solid, you know, exhibition there with a lovely manta ray on the back. Beautiful. Moving on back in sort of inside the watch a bit more now, we've got, this is a sapphire bezel insert, and that's got C3 lume in it. I'll show you the lume as we go throughout in a moment. And these hands are beautiful, part skeletonized, so you can see through them there the date, for example, and it's not obscured, and then it's lovely and clear there. They're silver as well, so a bit tricky to see against a silver dial, I must say. It does sort of get lost in there. Your eye tunes into it. But look at this clever date wheel you've got here. It's an NH35 movement in here. Check out the stats on this movement. It's running incredibly. It's within COSC. Healthy amplitude, 0 beat error, really good. They've sent me a good one, obviously, and that's a great positive. They do inform me that they do check all their movements. They're very good on their quality control at Proxima. That's something I definitely can back up by looking at this one. And look at this wheel here for the date. NH35, they've put a custom date wheel in here. It's an arrow, as you can see here, it's set for here. And check that out. That's so cool. And that's loomed as well. I mean, that's really funky sort of USP at this price point. And that's partly why this watch is going to be interesting to you guys, because that's why it's a bit mental, because we've got sort of a vintage style case, 62 mass Seiko-ish style case, a sapphire bezel insert, which is loomed. 120 click, by the way. Not very grippy, that's one thing I warn you. It's actually really tricky to turn. I think it needs bedding in. It's a very new watch. Lovely action. It's 0 play in this. It's almost too grip. I mean, look, I'm struggling. And look at the way it plays with the light. Silver sunburst, you can also get it with black. There is one with a unicorn logo as well. And if you don't want Proxima, you can get one with a unicorn, which is quite quirky, but I prefer Proxima. It's quite a cool name. So that's kind of the dial layout. I mean, these hands are a great length, and they line up here, as you can see, with the date window. It's really nicely proportioned, and this second hand reaches right out, and then it helps bend the end of it because of this playful bit of curvature with this incredible bubble crystal. Look at that. So move on to the bracelet now. We'll quickly fly through that. So push pins, press clasp. Clasp is a bit of a weakness. It could do with a bit more micro adjust. If you've got these massive links, it could do with some more micro adjust to get it to fit you better. But honestly, I've put this on, I'll show you a bit later on a waffle, one of my straps I sell, the Tasty Waffle with quick release, and I can get it to fit me perfectly then. And it's more in keeping with this case style. Beautiful. So now we know that, let's get down to the nitty gritty. So now you've got an idea of the stats and the specs. What we're going to discuss now is my likes. Then we're going to move on to the things I think could be improved upon. So let's get started with, I like the brand name. I think Proxima sounds good. It's quite interesting. The dome sapphire is very nice indeed. It really helps bend the light, play with it. It really sparkles. It's gorgeous, especially on a nice sunny day. Could do with a few more of those now. And we've got the loomed date disc. That is a real standout thing for me. And that new sapphire bezel insert with the 2 rings, outer and then an inner ring within that bezel insert. And then you add in that extra glow from the date wheel, even though they kind of fade at different times, and it's just a bit of fun, you know, something different. The case shape is nice. I do quite like the simplicity of the case shape that you've got here, very reminiscent of a 62 mass style watch, which is a Seiko from the 60s, and it's a pleasant case shape and case design, I must say. I like the case back, having a manta ray on the back. Really nice, just a nice bit of extra detail. Often case backs are quite boring and quite bland. It's nice to have a little bit of detail on there, because us watch lovers, we do look at the case backs now and then and appreciate these little details. $184 plus maybe taxes and fees. The way I look at it is a raw baseline figure of $184, which is £130. That's fantastic value for money. And the build quality is really good. I haven't found any snots or snags or rough bits, poor brushing or polishing anywhere. The only niggle I'll talk about a little bit later on, but no, everything else is perfectly sound, especially for £130. It's really good. 200 meters water resist, screw case back with seals and gaskets. Same with the crown. That's really good as well. You can wear it with peace of mind, knowing in 99% of the user's life, they're not going to get any water in the watch. It's very unlikely, so you should be all right. And those hands, they're fantastic. Really long, skeletonized at the end, so you can read the indices at the end, and the hour hand, it's always as it goes over the numerals for the date, you can still see the date through it. It's really clever, little subtle details. It shows a little depth of design and thought has gone into that, and I like that a lot. But now it's time to discuss the improvements. I think it's almost a 50-50 list here, but we'll get to the end to see if I overall recommend this piece. Now, improvements. The bezel is too stiff, which is a bit of a downside. It's very slippery, difficult to turn. But the actual bezel feel and the action is very, very good and very positive. But to feel that action, it's very stiff. Dial legibility, especially with a silver sunburst with silver hands, and then a distorting crystal. It's actually quite a difficult watch to read. You do tune into it a bit, and I think it's actually easier to read when there's a bit of lume glowing on those hands, which is really good solid lume on those. I think black hands would be fantastic to help give contrast against that dial. The bracelet fitment is actually quite poor. I tried it with taking an extra link out, putting one back in, using all the micro adjusts and everything, and I could only ever get it so it was actually a little bit uncomfortably tight. So I even had in my collection I've got it, where have I put it? I bought off AliExpress a really good quality little aftermarket clasp, but it's all milled instead of the press one. And even admittedly, it's only got 3 micro adjusts. It just wouldn't fit. I just couldn't get it to fit me personally with a 7-inch wrist comfortably. So I put it on one of my own straps. But I'll discuss that a little bit more in a bit. Again, complexity of reading that dial is added further by there's extra little dashes on the dial, and I find them just to add complexity and confusion to when I'm trying to read the time. And 164 grams, even with 3 of those massive links taken out, still quite a weighty watch. So solutions. First of all, the bracelet issues. If it's not going to quite fit you, there is obviously what I ended up doing. I just put it on one of my watch straps. I put it on the black Tasty Waffle, black to complement the black indices and the black text on the dial. And the waffle actually complements the 62 mass style case shape, because that's the kind of strap that would have been on that type of case. And a solution I would suggest maybe Proxima do with the bracelet is to offer nearer the clasp end of things, half size link. So that's it, guys. I've offered my fair pros and cons and even offered some solutions. And I hope overall you've enjoyed this review. If you have, thumbs up, check out my other videos, of course, and subscribe if you haven't already. And I would definitely recommend this watch to you, because overall the positives outweigh the negatives. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one. Bye for now.